Hey, and welcome back to my channel. If my face is red, I sucked my coffee down the wrong hole. This is my new cup. You say witch like it's a bad thing, because y'all know I'm all about the witches. In case you're new to my channel, I have a witch tattoo. Listen, I've loved witches ever since I was a kid. I don't know what to say about it. I just have. The very first witch I liked was Witchy Poo on HR Puff and stuff. And ooh, if you look at her now, she was ugly. She paved the way for my love of witches. Anyway, I was sitting here this morning I'm talking dark 30. I was up at like 3:30, and I started going through some magazines, because y'all know I go on the hunt for magazines at thrift stores to use in my junk journals. Well, I thought, I'll just sit here and cut out magazines. So I got into Better Homes and Garden, and at the very end, the very end of the magazine was an article. It was just like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 ways how to stop stress eating. And a light bulb went off in my head. It's Monday. Let's do a Motivation Monday. So I looked at the article. I read their things. And then, of course, I pulled some up on the internet, because I don't like to tell you. I'll give you my opinion on things, but I don't like to give you like something I think is a fact if I don't know it's a fact, if I ain't looked it up. So I found another article on Healthline. I find a lot of stuff on Healthline. That's a very popular site for different things, health related. And so I thought today we will talk about how to stop stress eating. Now, I am a stress eater. I am an emotional eater. I will eat every emotion that you have. It don't matter if it's a good or bad emotion, I'll eat it. And I know there are plenty of y'all out there that are in the same situation. And when you get stressed, the first thing you think about is food. Used to be when I smoked, the first thing I thought about was a cigarette. And I'm not going to lie to you, because I've told you before, and I will tell you again, I still think about grabbing a cigarette. When certain situations arrive after I eat, if I get stressed out, if something is preying on my mind, I think I need a cigarette. And I stop and tell myself, you don't smoke anymore. I am still a smoker. You know, Sandy over at Let's Get Fit with Sandy, she talks about portion control. And she says she still eats like a 300-pound woman. I still think like a smoker. I don't know how to get that out of my mind. It is so, after 22 years, it is so ingrained. I don't go to the point that I do smoke, but I think about it. So that's the way we are with food. When we get stressed or even just overly tired, there's all kind of things that make us eat. But we're going to talk about stress eating, when we're like under the gun and we're feeling it, and our nerves are worked to the end. The things that we can do to maybe help us not stress eat, not reach for the food. And you know, I keep my notes, because I ain't trying to go by my memory. Oh my gosh. that is a ship that has almost sailed. So the first thing I put as number 1, I don't know, both of those other things had something different, but I put as number 1, because I always use, what's my kryptonite? If you've been with me, you know what it is. Little Debbie cakes. So to me, the first thing is to remove the temptation. Okay, if it's not in the house, you can't eat it. Let me repeat it. If it's not in the house, you can't eat it. That's why you will not catch Little Debbie's in my house, or Pringles. Now, I have bought Pringles in the past in those little single serving sizes, and they seem to do okay, which I'm on low carb now, so I'm not eating them anyway. But Little Debbie's cannot even come in for a treat, because if they're in here, I will eat them. So if you have a food that is a temptation, just don't bring it in your house. Okay, here is another thing. If you have to bring it in for a family member, there are people who have family members who can and will eat foods that are triggers to them. Keep it out of sight. I'm going to read you the quote. Research shows that visual exposure to high-calorie foods stimulate the striatum. That's the part of the brain that modulates impulse control, which may lead to increased cravings and overeating. That's a fancy way of saying out of sight, out of mind. If you sit in there, like a old experiment science thing or something about the dog that drools. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you see it, it stimulates this part of your brain that controls your impulses. So if you see, listen, I can see that little Debbie cake in the grocery store if I go in and I'm just like, oh my gosh, walk on by. But it stimulates in my mind that I can sit down and eat the whole box. I can eat a whole box of little Debbie's. Ain't no sense to lie about it. So if cookies and chips and desserts, anything that is your trigger food, if it has to be in the house, keep it out of sight. Keep it up in your cabinet somewhere. Heck, even make them take it to their room. I don't see no problem with that, unless you have a rule about not eating in your room. Or if they can be trusted to not eat in their room, just to store it in their room and eat it in the kitchen. However, what works for you in your household. But keep it out of sight. And I'm going as far as to say, this is my opinion, no cookie jars. If your family eats cookies, don't have a cookie jar, because you might not see the cookie inside, but you know good and full well what that cookie jar represents. It represents the goodness that is hiding within. So I go as far as to say no cookie jars. So that is my first thing to control stress eating, is to not have it in the house, not have it in sight, because then you can't reach for it. So the second thing is to check your hunger. Ask yourself, am I hungry? Try to follow your physical cues for hunger. Maybe your blood sugar's dropping, you get lightheaded, you know you need food, maybe your belly's growling. You can tell when you're actually hungry if you stop and think about it. Step back 10 minutes, see if it goes away. Just give yourself 10 minutes. Like David was saying on our tag, one of his pet peeves is, or one of the habits that people have or whatever that drives him nuts, is like if we go out and people get food from a buffet or from a salad bar and they're picking off their plate and eating before they get to the table. He always says, if you can't wait till you get to the table to eat, if we can't wait 10 minutes, just if you have to set a timer for 10 minutes, you know what? Sometimes you'll go past that 10 minutes and you'll go on and you'll get busy and you'll forget that you were quote unquote hungry. Let's see. If you really want, I'm reading my little notes here. If you really want to have something after that 10 minutes, if you really are hungry, then go for something healthy. I read one thing that says sip some hot herbal tea, which I like coffee. I drink coffee. Back whenever it said keep your healthy foods on hand. So when you do reach for something, you really don't have a choice but to reach for something healthy. And if you're still hungry at that time, then eat yourself something healthy. Don't think, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat cookies. That ain't the same thing. And y'all know it ain't. So don't go there if you're hungry. What? Who says? Where did I hear that if you're hungry, you can eat an apple and an apple will satisfy you? Something like that. Susie, did you say something like that? I know somebody did. Now, here is another thing. Don't restrict. Some people might think, hold on. So, you know the milk mustache, I get the coffee mustache. Some people think low carb is restricting. And it does restrict white flour, sugar, things that you don't have to eat nutritiously and survive. I don't have to have sugar. I don't have to have white pasta. If I want pasta, I can eat whole wheat pasta and I can limit my portion. So I am just limiting the quote unquote bad carbs, the simple carbs. I'm introducing complex carbs more so this week than I have before because I think it would just help my health. I was so consumed in what's low carb. I was telling David, I kept forgetting to put in healthy carbs. So low carb doesn't mean no carb. It just means, to me, no bad carbs. But here, this part of restricting is don't deprive your body of food or consume too few calories. It can lead to binging the higher calorie foods. You might think, and I know there's some, like I watched that 600 Pound Life, and he puts them people, after they've been eating tens of thousands of calories, he tells how many calories they have to eat. He drops them from what they eat down to 1,200 calories a day. But he's preparing them for a surgery, so he's being extreme with them because they're in an extreme deadly situation. And some people can eat 1,200 calories and get by. I know I couldn't. Not at this stage in my journey. I don't think I could go that low. If I had to, and I was told that's the way you're going to get it, but I've got to go at it at a little little bit more sustainable to me. Just doing low carb is more sustainable to me than eating whatever I want at 1,200. But he limits. Theirs is like no to low carb to no carb. 1,200 calories, 3 meals a day, no snacks. So he's really strict on them. And some of them do it and some of them don't. But that's what I'm talking about, is don't restrict your calories and don't think that you're doing yourself any favors by not eating. Like, oh, I'm not going to eat, so I lose more weight. That's not necessarily true. It says it doesn't, and I also put a note here, don't use snacks or junk food to boost your calories. If you're thinking, well, I hadn't had enough calories today, I don't want it to lead to binge eating or stress eating, I'm going to eat a cookie. Nope, that's not what I'm saying. If you need to have more calories, then you find something healthy to eat. We're trying to stay away from the junk food here. There's a thread that goes all through this little piece here, and junk food is not the answer. The next one is stay hydrated. Research found an association of chronic dehydration and an elevated risk of obesity. It can also lead to alterations in mood, attention, and energy levels, where in turn it can affect your eating habits. We all know we're talking about stress eating. If we're moody in a mood, whatever the mood is, if we're tired, I've already mentioned that, and I wasn't even thinking about this one. If we're tired, we eat. Don't y'all sometimes tend to overeat and eat stuff you shouldn't eat when you're tired because you don't really care? I eat bad when I'm sick. Like I've said it how many times before. When I don't feel good, I don't care what I eat. That's the last thing I'll worry about. So, but dehydration apparently plays a big role in how we feel and our health, which how we feel in turn affects how we eat. So let's stay hydrated. I've tried to this morning. I'm having my coffee, obviously, but I'm trying, and that's where I fail. No matter how I eat, I fail in drinking enough water. So I've got to really get better than I am and better at that. This one is walk it off. Or I say not just walk it off. Any activity, anything that will. This will make more sense when I read this to you. Hold on. Every time you eat, when you are tense, a pattern is created in your brain. Your brain becomes comfortable with that pattern and uses it as the default way of dealing with stress. That's a big one. Let me make sure if I got any more to that one on the next page. Yes. So I think that's the experiment. Maybe I'm trying to think of Pavlov's dog, something like that, where it's conditioned. We condition our brain when we're tensed up and we're stressed and we eat, then our brain says, okay, that's the default. That's where we're going. Next time you get tense, head for the food. And we set that pattern. That's why I've got that note here. Breaking that habit, like it says in that article, breaking that habit might be hard, but it is doable. Every time you take a quick walk or even practice deep breathing, your brain is leveraging neuroplasty. That's the ability to change patterns in the brain by making new connections. So what we're doing is we're training our brain to do something different. And then when it does that something different enough times, that's going to be its new default. So we want to stop heading for the food, and we want to go against the pattern of what our brain thinks is what it's supposed to do. Go for a quick walk. It says practice some deep breathing. I say, I come back in here to the craft room. I have a lot of long ways to go to train myself how to deal with stress. But I'm going to tell you what, since going on this low carb, it has all but taken away my craving for sweets. And Wednesday we'll talk about the baby shower and sweets on my way in, because it was not a good outcome, and we'll discuss that. But taking away the sweets, and it's been, how long's it been now? Month and a half? Something like that, or more? I don't know. I can't keep up with it. Taking away the sweets and the white flours from the bread and all this and that has made me not even want it. You put it in front of me, I'm going to eat it. But I've trained, I guess, I don't know if I've trained my brain to not want it, because I took it away, and now it's no big deal. It's not. Now, little Debbie's going to be a big deal. You put that little girl up in this house, and the old me is going to come back. That's where that out of sight, out of mind comes into play. It don't mean you are Superman and you're never ever going to crave that thing again, and you're never ever going to want that thing again. But my everyday in and out cravings for sugar and white breads and things have all but disappeared. So these are the things we have to do to retrain our brain to get a whole new default, is to find something to take the place of food. I don't care what it is. Find something to take the place of food. Listen, when I was on Simply Feeling, because I was thinking about coffee, when I was on Simply Feeling, when I very first started Weight Watchers, I ate so many eggs, so many bananas, and so much coffee that it wasn't funny. And I still lost weight regularly. I lost 30 pounds, very quickly on Simply Feeling before I fell off track for whatever the reason was. I done forgot now. There was a reason, and I fell off track. So maybe stress eating, if you do eat, run for something healthy like a banana, or scramble you up a couple eggs, or have some boiled eggs in the refrigerator. Make yourself some hot tea, some hot coffee. Just do something. Well, don't train yourself to eat a banana every single time you're hungry, because you don't want to eat 14 bananas a day. But find something to do that is not food related for the best results, I think. But if you are hungry, do find something that's, not bad for you. Don't starve yourself. That's part of your restricting. Don't go hungry. But try to find something that your brain is going to start associating with. Oh, I'm tense. I'm going to do this. So that is that one. Now, I think this is the last one we were going to talk about. Hold on. Let me see. Oh no, I got another page. This one is keep healthy foods handy. Eating healthy, nutritious food high in protein, fiber, and healthy fats, those would be nuts, seeds, avocado, beans, and eggs, can keep you full and prevent overeating. So if you're eating nutritious, healthy meals, that's going to keep you from snacking so much in between meals, and possibly from snacking on the wrong thing. I think about Joan over at Joan's Point of Plate. She keeps a thing on her counter, uh, fruits and vegetables during the day for her and her family to snack on, so she's not tempted to go for anything that maybe she shouldn't have. And so that's another way that they get in their fruits and vegetables that they might not have room to get in at every single meal. Listen, what the food pyramid or whatever the association is, suggests in the amount of fruits and vegetables it wants you to eat a day, I can't do it. I can't do it. There ain't enough time in the day for me to try to eat that many fruits and vegetables. So if you can't get them in during the day, and something else I was reading on there, it says if you have, and that's what made me think of her, it says if you have fruits and vegetables handy, they said have like a bowl of fruit on your counter. It's something that keeps you from having to go dig for it, because if you got to dig for it, you're ain't gonna eat it. And you know what? Preach it, Mr. Article, because that's why I food prep. If I got to go digging for food, I'm not always going to dig out the best thing that's for me. I'm going to dig out the quickest and the easiest, because when I'm hungry and I'm tired, I'm lazy and I don't care, and I'll need some food and I'm going to eat it. So that's why for me personally, meal prep, no matter what it is, no matter if it's a tray of sandwich ingredients, then like I used to do for me and David, which now it would be a wrap, then that's what I'm going to do. So try to eat healthy and nutritious foods. This next one, I think, was the last one I had on there. This one surprised me. Get enough vitamin D. It says being deficient in vitamin D can make you more prone to depression and anxiety. Those things can cause the cravings for the starchy carbs that increase the level of serotonin. And we have discussed in the past what serotonin is. Serotonin is the feel-good hormone, chemical. I think it's a hormone, yeah, in your brain. Things that make us happy, things that we do that bring us joy, increases the level of serotonin. And then that, if you ask me, in turn, trains the brain. Okay, there's the default. That's what's going to make me happy. If I'm reaching for that starchy, delicious carb, that's making me happy, and I'm going to produce that serotonin, and my host body is going to be going, woohoo, I feel good. No. So who knew vitamin B played a role in that? These are some, well, I know B is good because a lot of people get B shots, B12 shots for their energy level. And energy level is one of the things. Did we already discuss that, or did I slip over that? Energy level, yeah, is one of the things that can affect the way we eat. If we're tired, we'll just start stress eating or binge eating. Some vitamin B rich foods are unrefined grains like oats, brown rice, and quinoa, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and beans. You know, we're bean people, and I'm trying to, like I said before, I think something's got to be low carb that I forget to introduce in the other things. Even though we're low carb, we're still going to eat beans, and I got to try to remember to make them. I know that sounds stupid, but it's like when I focus on one thing, some other things kind of I miss them because I'm so like lasered in on this one thing. So I get so lasered in on making something low carb that I forget to add in the brown rice and the beans. But this week I've got it on the menu because I worked on that last week when I was working on my menu. So anyway, those are some things that I thought that would help if you have trouble stress eating, binge eating, overeating, eating your emotions, eating when you're sad, eating when you're happy, eating when you're mad. Listen, you name the emotion, I'm going to eat for it. I'm going to say I used to would eat for it because I am really, really, really working on that. And I don't want to jinx it because y'all know I believe in jinx. But I think I've been doing really well at it, as in not going overboard. And I will tell you that one that helps me the most, I think, is not having it in the house. When I get hungry, now that I've been on low carb, when I get hungry uh, in between meals, if I do eat, I eat like Baby Bell cheese or a Slim Jim or some nuts or a banana or a spoonful of peanut butter. Sometimes I put the peanut butter on the banana. I drink almond milk. I drink a lot of almond milk because I love it. I didn't realize I liked it until I started Weight Watchers, and almond milk is one of the extremely low point things that you use in your bacon and smoothies and whatever all you use almond milk in. Well, I got to where I like the taste of it to drink. I almost like it better than cow's milk. It's just and that's unsweetened plain. I can't drink the vanilla. I picked one up here, a couple months back. By accident, I picked up the vanilla, and I know it said unsweetened, but I didn't see the vanilla part. And I poured me a big old glass, and I took a drink, and I told David, I'm like, oh, can almond milk go sour? I think this almond milk was sour. I took another drink, and I'm like, I can't drink this. Something is wrong with it. So I started looking for the date, and I saw the word vanilla. I'm like, okay, that's it. That whole thing went down the drain because I think I was doing low carb at that time. So maybe it wasn't 2 months ago. I don't know. So it wasn't going to be baking it in no baked goods because I'm not, doing that. And I can use cream or whatever. Oh, okay, my battery is dying, so I got to go. Love y'all. I'll see you in my next video.